You're listening to Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast.
When your heart is aching and your world is shaking, don't give up. No, no, don't give up.
Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope. I'm your host, Jana Short, and today I'm here with Liz Dederer, a 20-year, 5-time entrepreneur. Liz is a CEO of a Selling with Service, which empowers women to make money and create change. In her flagship program, the Sales School for Entrepreneurs, Liz teaches solopreneurs how to create a high-touch, low-tech service business so they can experience their first forever 5-figure months. Oh my gosh, I had to read that twice. Like, by the way, she's one of my mentors, so I'm so excited she's here. She's got a lot of good stuff for you. She's an accomplished speaker. Liz brings wit and wisdom to her frequent appearances on podcasts, regional and national conferences on women's empowerment, sales, and money. I'm so excited you're here with us, Liz. Thank you so
thrilled
much.
to be here. This is going to be a fun conversation. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, one of the first things we ask is for you to share your story of hope with everyone. You just share away and give us the juice.
Yeah, no, this is not going to be the Disney princess version. Not at all. So 20-year, 5-time entrepreneur. I always just want to clarify that because I'm only 21. I'm just kidding. I started my first business when I was 18. I was working in fashion and decided to leave retail. I was a personal shopper's assistant at Saks Fifth Avenue and only knew like retail or office. That was all that I knew. So I was like, I don't want to do retail, so I'm going to go work in an office. I hated working in an office and I missed retail. So I went back to my customers that I had at Saks, and I knew they had all these clothes that they weren't wearing that were just sitting there. So I was like, this thing called eBay is just kind of starting. Like, could I take your clothes and sell them on eBay and I'll cut you a profit? Like the hedge fund wives really cared about $300 on a pair of pants or whatever, right? Coming back to them. But I think they just supported me because I was this young kid with an idea. And that really took off. It was always a side hustle. But the cool thing about that is, it was back in the day when you had to like code the pages for eBay to make them stand out. So that introduced me to the back end of websites early on, which was a great experience. That kind of continued over time. And then probably fast forward about 10 years later, I started dating my daughter's father. And, Fast and Furious, probably a summer fling that went on for too long. Definitely a summer fling that went on for way too long. And he was a carpenter when I met him. It was right at the time of the recession. I had lost my job, which was kind of a theme. The universe was constantly kicking me out, but I didn't understand that stuff at the time. So I was like, had a revolving door for my career. So he's a carpenter. I'm trying to figure out if I'm ever going to do this business thing. This finest consignments is what I called it. I was like, let me go and do it now. So I'm out networking. I'm out doing the chamber stuff. And while I'm out there, I'm also trying to get him work and, because he can't network to save his soul. So I'm out there trying to get him carpentry jobs, kitchen remodeling and all this other stuff. One thing leads to another, and we end up connecting with a real estate investor. And one thing led to another through that. She kept hiring him to do these jobs. And I was like, why would a real estate salesperson hire him to doesn't make sense. So she sat me down and she was like, I flip houses. This is like a whole thing. So I got schooled on that. So we started kind of growing a house remodeling business, and we found a pretty cool formula. There was a 55 and older community that had over 900 units that most of the people had moved in the 80s. So as they would unfortunately pass, their units would become available and they were outdated. They would go to the kids' estates or the estate, and the kids would just want to offload the property. So we would come in, buy them cash, flip them. But before we even flipped them, we put them on the market. Someone was downsizing, they would come in to buy it cash and then also pay a premium to have us update to their custom specs. So we kind of had a cash cow for a while. We flipped, I would say, close to 40 units, really riding the recession up. It was during this time that I found out I was pregnant. decided that if I'm ever really going to do my own thing, it's kind of, I've got 9 months to figure it out, or I've got to wait 18 years, was just the story I said in my mind. So decided it was now or never. And honest to God, my daughter's father, can I swear here?
Yes, you can.
He's a piece of shit alcoholic. So abusive son of a bitch. So all of that kind of stuff is going on in the background. You know, we're bleeding money faster than we can bring it in because alcoholics aren't really great with managing the books. So there's a lot of nonsense going on behind the scenes. So when I found out I was pregnant, it was also a situation of, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, this is not good. So I have to have my own money. So I started a web design and marketing agency. It was kind of like a franchise type business, but the web design wasn't foreign to me because I had the experience prior. Got that going. That got me out of my last corporate job, which was at Carter's and Oshkosh kids clothing company at their corporate office, where I actually wrote the training program that they still use to train their retail associates. So that's pretty cool. Through that, building my business, you know, one of the things that really solidified as to how can I, having been a side hustle entrepreneur for 10 years, what's really going to make me do this full time? Honest to God, I was like, if this idiot can do it, I can do it so much better. That's the motivation. That's what got me finally full-time into it. I was like, if this drunk can do it, I can totally run a better business. So started to build my web design agency, and it's crazy. There's, you know, all these moments that we have in our life. And one of them was, he had flipped the family car. Thank God nobody was in it. So I've got a rental car. I'm full-time in my business. My daughter's with the nanny. I should be out, you know, pounding the pavement, meeting with clients, growing my business the best I can. But I was in a church parking lot, crying hysterically, going into an Al-Anon meeting, because that's where people told me I needed to be. That's where I thought you could fix alcoholics. So I went into this Al-Anon meeting. I was like, all right, they're going to tell me, you know, how to fix him. How do I take control of this situation? And surprise, surprise, they don't actually teach you that there. Spoiler alert. So that didn't happen. Instead, I was sitting in a room with women who, one after another, just spoke words that only I thought I was living. And I was like, oh shit. So that really was my door opener towards this whole world of personal development. I didn't really know all of this stuff existed, like working on yourself and everything. Like, I was getting snippets of it through entrepreneurialism and the work that I do just on myself. But this was off the diving board into the deep end. Like, you're going to learn this shit real quick. So it was brutal having to take that kind of a look at yourself, see all the things, not fun. The first time I left him, she was 10 months old. I left for about a week. Second time I left him, she was 18 months old. I was gone for about 9 months. And then the third time and final time I left him, I want to say she was about 3 years old, and she's 9 now. And that was the last time. You know, I kept going back trying to make it work, and this time it'll be different and whatever. And it was through all of that. My business was growing. Technology was also changing at the time, and websites were becoming, you know, when I started my web design business, one of the reasons I chose that as the business was because, I think 10 years ago, if you wanted to have a website, it was basically like paying rent in order to have one, to secure a web designer. And I had this, like I said, like a franchise type product that a business owner could operate without having to pay $1 bazillion a month. So it was really like, you know, welcomed in the marketplace. But technology started to change. All the Weebly's and Wixes and stuff like that started to pop up. And I didn't really, you know, social started to take off, and I didn't really want to keep up with the nuances of it. And my clients were actually, you know, they were a huge saving grace for me. So they were hiring me to do their web design and marketing strategy. And now that I'm, you know, full-time in my business, I'm sitting in their store for the day because I just don't want to go the fuck home. She's at the nanny's or my dad's house, and grandpa daycare, thank God for that. So she's, taken care of for the day. I'm doing anything I can not to go home. So I'm just hanging out with my clients and they're just extracting strategies from my brain all day. And I'm just so happy to be with someone who's not telling me what a devastating piece of shit that I am, that ultimately I found out I was coaching like a lot for free. I had no idea, but it wasn't for free. It was, they were building the belief back into myself. Like they were everything for me, I mean, like they, fed me, financially, but not even as much as I probably could have gotten, because I needed their validation. I needed their belief in me. I needed just, they were so thankful to have me around. And then you go home to this other complete experience. So over time, I shifted my business model because like I said, the tech was changing. I didn't want to keep up with the web and the social and that sort of stuff. So then I go into like, all right, I sat down in my accountant's office one day and I was like, I'm going out to lunch with this woman. He goes, oh, website client. And I said, no, we talked about that. She doesn't really need a website. Like she's got one, it's fine. But she just likes kind of picking my brain on stuff and we're just kind of chatting and it's nice. He's like, oh, Liz, that's called coaching or consulting. There's like a whole industry around that. You could get paid for that. And I was like, I could get paid for talking? He's like, yes, Liz, you can get paid for talking. I was like, oh my God, this is like the best day ever. So, there opens up that whole can of worms. So then I started to shift my business into kind of being like a business coach, marketing coach. I didn't really know. I think I had like 7 brands in 1 year as I was trying to figure it out. And leaving him, and I mean, just chaos upon chaos upon chaos. Like you can't, it's not even that you can't thrive when you're living in chaos. Like you can't function. Like how I did anything, in those years is a damn miracle. I remember going to networking meetings where I was just crying hysterically on the way there and then just getting in the car, and I lived in Connecticut. So it's sticking my face out the window as I'm driving to let the cool air calm the puffiness in the eyes. Like I had all the tricks. And you couldn't stop me. There was no, like, what were my options? What were my options? To a fault, because sometimes I would work to the point of hospitalization, panic attacks. And I thought I was having a heart attack on my 34th birthday. And, there were a lot of those moments in between, antidepressants. And then now I'm good. I don't need them. And then, me self-medicating at night. And I'm like, great, I'm leaving an alcoholic. And now Jesus Christ, I'm becoming one. Like, that's not good. So all of those sort of things, like, these are the things that entrepreneurs don't talk about on the journey that, like, I have so many clients who have left marriages like this in the past. A lot of my clients are older than me, so they're successfully now, thank God, on second marriages and healthy marriages and whatnot. But they're like, yeah, my first child's father is I don't know if it's the grit that makes us entrepreneurs or what it is, but I know so many people have kind of gone through that. And I just kept going. I don't know why, if I'm crazy or if I'm stupid or if I'm resilient or what, but it's like, what am I going to do? Go back to an office again and sit there with people that are living pretend all day long when I now know that this is not acceptable for me? Like, just wasn't an option. So through networking with women's groups, especially, is really where I got to let my hair down. I got to show up professionally. And then my speaking career started to take off, and, higher level clients started to come in, and I was really refining that it's actually like business strategy and sales conversations is really my lane. Higher level clients and all of that sort of thing. So building the business, they were really building me up and putting me and highlighting me in the forefront. And then after the event was over, we'd go back, when we could go places, see people and do things, hang out at the bar and just shoot the shit. And that's when the real camaraderie started to be built. So it was that same experience I had with my clients early on, where people were breathing the belief into me while I was being fed business. I was getting this from these woman tribes. And I was like, holy shit, this is beyond powerful. Like, this is beyond valuable. And I started hearing themes about the struggles that women were having in their businesses and stuff. And you know, sometimes your genius is right there on your face and you can't see it until other people point it out for you. And mine is really around helping a woman really nuance that sales conversation or conversation around money. I think it's because I just ran out of fucks to give a long time ago that I can just kind of show up unapologetically and say the things and model for somebody else. Like, to me, a sales conversation is just an ego dance in a lot of ways. And I've been through so much bullshit with him and the legal system and custody and all of these other things that it's like, you can't knock me. Try me. Because I'm not going to die. And if I do, then I'm dead. So like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, let's go toe to toe in a sales conversation. Or like, is it going to be a fit? Are you afraid? Like, whatever. Like, I'm not combative for sure. It's, you know, my company's called Selling with Service. Like, it's what we're about. But when it comes to like training my clients and stuff, I think one of the things that they appreciate most about me is, you know, the vulnerability, right? I mean, this is like how I show up all the time, just saying the things. And that I really show up as an advocate and champion for them because I know what it's like for a woman to be beat down with words. When words get weaponized against you, I know what that feels like. So I think just so much of what I do is just to help women understand that that's what's going on, and then give them the tools, the words, the whatever it is to navigate conversations from a place of commanding strength and authority.
Wow, I love your story. And I think that so many women are going to relate to this because we do have to change the way we receive those words and how we come out of it. And you are doing what you're doing because you're driven. Like you had another mouth to feed. You were in survival mode. And I think a lot of women are in that. And they're the ones that rise really quickly because they had no choice. It's like the burn the ships sort of theory. There's no going back. If I leave him and I make this happen, there's no going back, right? I'm on my own and I got to make that happen. And you have that mentality and that drive.
Yeah.
I love your story. So I know that you work with people other than women, but I know you also, like, women are drawn to you because they understand that, they relate to it, and they want out of that, right? They want to be to that other place. So how do you do that? How do you serve women and get to that place? And by the way, I met you in a women's networking group. Yes. And so ladies, if you haven't joined one, get involved, start collaborating. These women are like partners. They lock arms with you and they help pick you up and they're like, get up, I've been there, you got this, and they feed you. It's been incredible.
Yeah, the eWomen Network is the one that we connected in. And when we could, you know, pre-COVID, I was on a speaking tour around the country, and it's like the sisterhood, the sorority I never had. Like, I just couch surfed with different women, you know, just if I'm going to speak at the chapter, it's like, hey, who can I hang out with for the night? It's a great way to get to know people. Someone's always gracious. I've made like the best, like all of my girlfriends that I have now are business girlfriends, you know? So it's like, where's the separation of work and life? There's none. It's just what we do.
When you love what you do, who cares, right?
Exactly. Like, there's times I got to sit down and focus and do the plans and the numbers and the blah, blah, blahs. But then like I was having a strategy session earlier for a corporate contract that a couple colleagues of mine were working on. And I think it was like the first 20 minutes, we were just like shooting the shit and whatever. And then we did 10 minutes of like the thing. And then the next 20 minutes were just like, so when are we going to sit down and like have a drink together? Like, okay, that's work.
You definitely want to find someone like Liz, because you can hire people that are yes people and they just want to make you happy and they say yes. I think it is when you get to a very specific age and you're just done taking crap. I just tell people too, when I meet with them and they push, I'm like, you can push back. You're an adult. Do what you want. Like, I'm just giving you, you're paying me for this, and I'm just giving you my advice. What you do with that is okay with me.
100%.
And I tell them, well, will it work? Well, if it would work, I would have told you to do that. It probably won't, but go ahead, go out there and prove me wrong. I'm on your team. Go.
Yeah. I mean, I say to them all the time, like, I want you to succeed. If it's with what I'm able to teach and help you with, that's awesome. And if it's not, that's cool too. But like, we got to do the things, like you got to do something, you know, clarity comes through, you know, action and conversation, confusion comes from thought. So if I can just get you into motion doing something, then that's better than nothing at all.
I 100% agree with that. And I am drawn to coaches like you, people who are real, who just tell you like it is. And, you know, they just cut to it. Like, this is, well, yeah, this is what you need to do. And so long as you're doing that, you're probably going to keep achieving that. So if you want to achieve more, I'm telling you, this is what you probably need to start adding into your business or your lifestyle or whatever it is I'm trying to achieve more of.
I'm going to tell you exactly what it is that I tell everybody. You got to be on the phone more. And this doesn't mean cold calls. This doesn't mean going through the yellow pages. This not even outbound calls. Like, I show you how you can use social to actually get humans to your phone, not for sales conversations, for freaking networking, you know? Just, you have to be on the phone more. You know, in the health space, you know, about the non-scale victories, when someone starts losing weight, but like the number doesn't budge, but the pants get a little bit bigger. That's like a non-scale victory. I call them non-sales victories, right? And we don't quantify those enough. So we think that, oh, well, I had 5 conversations and I didn't get a client. Well, you booked a podcast, you made a new business friend, you found out about a conference where you're going to learn something and gain value, and you gave value to somebody else. Like, those are 5 non-sales victories. So you had a great week actually just getting started.
I absolutely think that people should celebrate those more often, and
Yes.
they don't. And that's sad. The fact that I even booked 5 calls, that should be a celebration,
That's a
right?
celebration. 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
People are missing those, and they think the end goal is the only celebration, and it's not true. All those steps that you're taking to get to that end goal, those need to be celebrated. I always say this when I'm talking on the podcast. I know people have heard this, but when we were toddlers and we were learning to walk, every time we fell, our parents were standing there, yay, because we tried, right? We didn't make it, we fell, get up, you're okay, you're not hurt. And they would like applaud us. Can you imagine if we just said, I'm done?
Yeah.
I tried this 3 times and it didn't work. We'd all be dragging ourselves around.
Rolling around, a bunch of adults rolling around the floor.
But what I am looking at is a bunch of people standing straight up walking. So I know you have it in you to get past those. You just need to start celebrating those falls, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And it's, you know, and it comes back to like the journey that I went on. Nothing would have happened if I sat there and just tried to figure it out in my own head. It was through all the conversations where I stuck my foot in the mouth, where I, you know, said the right things, or I said the right things to the wrong person, or the wrong things to the right person, or whatever it was. I showed up too vulnerably. I showed up a little too businessy, like whatever. I can't remember any of those exact scenarios, and I'm sure that nobody else can either, and who cares if they do. I kept trying. I learned the things that worked coming out of my mouth. I learned the things not to say coming out of my mouth. I learned when a conversation is going to go south, who I'm better on the phone with than I'm not, who's better in my tribe than not. Like, I learned all of these things by growing and by having conversations and being open. And the personal side of things is like, it's okay to show up in a networking conversation, especially now more than ever. Like, I used to teach this pre-COVID, but like now it's even more okay to show up in a conversation and just be like, how are you today? I am having a rough day. How are you? Like, you can start a conversation like that. And you know what you just did? You just bridged instant humility with somebody. You just build the bridge to the most authentic human connection that you can have out of the gate. And we don't do enough of that.
Oh, I don't have bad days, but I really don't. I just been super blessed. And people are like, with COVID, my business has never grown more. Because I'm stuck. And here's the thing about making those phone calls. I love that now I'm forced to be on my computer, and because I'm here, I get to make those Zoom calls, and I'm a people reader. I'm like reading how they're engaging with me. Are they sitting back like this? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Are they like, yeah, yeah? And I see their excitement. I love Zoom calls, and like all my calls now, I'm like, why can't you get on Zoom?
Yeah.
I'm in the car. Well, get home. I'll wait.
Exactly.
I want to see
you. Yes.
Yeah, I love technology, even though I don't love learning how to use it. But I am like, you guys, I'm going to be 60 years old. And for me to sit here and have to learn a new app, like right now I'm learning to edit video. I want to shoot myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? I'm learning, and I'll get there eventually. I know I'll never be the person you hire to do your video, but I'll get enough done so I can get through mine, right?
It's always done is better than perfect. Done
100%.
is better than perfect. Yeah.
I know you were talking about, like, sometimes you put your foot in your mouth when you're talking, or you make mistakes. When I did interior design, I remember having thousands of dollars in this wallpapering job that was being done, and they messed it up. And it was so expensive, the wallpaper. I'm like, just patch it. And I'm telling you, it was such a good job of patching. But when I came in the house with the owners, my eyes went right to the patch.
Yes. Oh
I'm the only one that can see it. I can feel myself sweating.
Yes.
Are they going to see the patch? To this day, they have no idea that that patch was there. But I had to tear myself away visually, like, don't stop looking at it.
Yep.
And pointing to the other things to distract them, right? But even now, they're living in their home. They never see that patch. And
Exactly.
I have told them about the patch. Like, oh, we would never have seen that.
That's so funny. The
But I
things
feel
we
like
do to
we
ourselves.
Yes, I feel like we do this with everything we do. Our eyes zero in on that patch, and we miss all that beauty around us. And it's just, the patch is just not important. What's the worst thing? They saw the patch and like, look, you're gonna have to redo this.
Exactly.
Like, okay,
Exactly.
then that's what we do. But I like have learned with this new life that it's just not important. Like,
No.
it is not important. That patch is not important. And I kept focusing in on that, and I was missing all that joy around me. And so if you get your foot in your mouth, own it. Like,
Yeah.
I went to a concert where Christian Jenoweth forgot the words to Somewhere Over the Rainbow. She
Oh my
sang it
gosh.
a million times, right? We're at
Yep.
the Hollywood Bowl, and I looked at my husband like, did she just mumble? Like, she forget the words? No, the verse comes around the second time and she did it again. And I'm like, she doesn't know the words to the song. She owned it. She put the mic down, said, oh my God, right in the middle of the song. It's happening to me.
It's happening. Yes.
It's finally happening. Like, I don't know how I forgot the words to this song. I've sung it a million times. You know what happened? The whole Hollywood Bowl starts singing the verse.
Oh, I love that.
Like, there, and you hear these voices rise up, filling in that gap of the words she forgot, and
Yes.
something super beautiful came out of it
Yes.
because she owned it, right?
Yep. I love it. I've seen like the Chinese proverb or something, or the, pictures of the cracked plate, and they use the gold to
Yep.
fill it and hold it together.
Yep. I
That's
have one of
cool.
those sitting on my dining room table. I have a girl
Oh,
who's got her
cool.
whole coaching program around how your scars are beautiful. And she sent me one to do on camera so that I can help promote with her. But that is a beautiful analogy. Like, I can't even say what it is. It starts with an S, but it's a Japanese thing they do with broken dishes.
Yes. Yep.
And it's not only more beautiful, but they're even stronger. I'm like, can I put soup in this now? She's like, yeah, it's stronger. But I think that is a beautiful analogy. How can people connect with you, Liz, when they want to know more about you and they want to start like joining your forces and having you help them get to that next level?
Yeah, the best place would be at the sales school for entrepreneurs.com.
If you don't think you need school, you do, because let me tell you, it will save you a lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
And we're going through some kind of brand refining right now, as we continue always, right? Always. It never stops. Because one of the things that I do that I don't talk about on the outside, and this is all of my web design and copywriting and everything, I do the things with the people. Like, yeah, we teach and we have, the programs and everything, the tracks that you can run yourself through. But a couple of weeks ago, a group of students and I got together, and they all were working on their speaker sheets together. So we had a 3-hour power session, and I wrote their speaker sheets. Like, it was a huge brainstorming session, but their speaker sheets are done. A couple of weeks before that, they needed their bios. I was like, you know what, I could just cut through the crap real quick. So let's do it. So there's so many programs out there, and I can't do that for everyone all the time, but even when I'm there doing it with someone, other people are doing theirs. And I say, tag me in the Google Doc. Like, let me get in there and when I can and get in, or I'll have my team get in and look at things. I've got a phenomenal copywriter who makes everything just sound better. She's my rant translator. That's what I call her. But it's those sort of things that not all the programs are doing. And that's where the real juice comes in.
By the way, I also speak Rentonese, so I totally get it. And these are the kind of coaches that I ask to come on the podcast, the ones that show up for you. And I know that we can't do it for everyone, but the thing is, we try. Like, we always try. And so those are the kind of coaches. They're not the ones that give you something and then they're gone. Buy this and this will get you there. That's not the kind of coaches we bring here on the show. We bring the ones that show up for you, because it matters to them that you are successful.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons you're one of my favorite people to talk to, because I feel that every time I talk to you, like I get part of your soul.
Yes. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
so
you.
where can they find that school? We're going to have all this in the show notes, but I always verbally like to tell them, for those who are just listening, where they can find you.
Yes. salesschooleforentrepreneurs.com.
So thank you so much, Liz, for being on the show. I absolutely adore you. I'm so excited that we got to share your story, and you guys can do this, right? And if you don't think you need school, I'm telling you, you may not, but learn from people who've already put it in place, that have already done it. It'll just save you a bunch of mistakes. It'll save you a bunch of those blocks on the wall, those patches.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, by the way, we're not supposed to be meant to be saved from that. I guess we're supposed to struggle. But if you don't have to, struggle somewhere else, where or somewhere else, right? I'll be struggling somewhere else and get this part down. So thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. Make sure to visit Jana's website, bestholisticlife.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, or listen there, so you'll never miss an episode. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show. That'll help too. Let's change the world together, one health expert at a time. Looking forward to seeing you next time.